First of all, thank you very much, Noan, for organizing this amazing day, and thank you for inviting us here to the fireside and speak with all of you, or speak with Sarah and have all of you listening. Maybe I quickly introduce myself. My name is Johanna Neuschäffer, and I'm co-founder of Office Impart, a gallery here in Berlin. And we work in the intersection of art and technology, and we showcase and work with artists that work with and about the materiality of our time. I'm very happy to have Sarah Friend here by my side, and I found something very nice that I want to read about you, Sarah. Sarah Friend is one of the most creative, engaged, and critical voices in the field of new digital art and its discourses. Where did you find this? I will tell you later. As an artist, technologist, and software developer, she works at the imbricated fringes of art, finance, and blockchain technology. And Sarah, I'm very happy that I found it. As we from Office Impart, we are the link between the trad art world and the, let's say, digital art world. And we were very lucky to be able to show your work in our gallery 2022 as part of a group show. And you showed, and we have it here already, one work series, Live Form. And I think that's also a very nice start to engage with your artistic practice, because it's a very simple way to understand how you work and what you work about. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about that.
Happily. Thank you, Johanna, and thank you everyone for being here today. It is always so embarrassing to hear your own bio read. But yeah, we exhibited an Office Impart project of mine called Life Forms. Life Forms was launched in 2021 as a NFT edition with experimental mechanics. Life forms are NFT-based entities that, like any living thing, need regular care in order to stay alive. The way that you care for a life form is within 90 days of receiving it, you have to give it away. So they're a little bit like gift economy Tamagotchis. And I think these were very compelling to people because they're engaging in unexpected behavior in the context of a market. They have these mechanisms that don't necessarily fully fit into our expectations of how a digital asset should behave. And they're also very cute. So life forms have these physical forms as well when they're installed in a physical space, and they also have a digital-only online incarnation.
Yeah, I think for us it was like one of the easiest pieces to understand how artists engage with blockchain. And you made it in a very simple and very reduced way, but of course you are very thoughtful of how you use technology in your artistic practice. And we would like to talk a little bit more about the most recent project here, because Lifeforms was just the introduction, because I'm sure a lot of you know the Lifeforms from Sarah Friend, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what you did in the next series or in the new series, and it all started with your engagement again with the audience. And the piece is called, or the series is called Untitled, and maybe we start from that and then we come to the newest project that is very exciting, and I'm sure you will see that in a minute.
Yeah, of course. So, like you said, Lifeforms is a very simple project. I say a few sentences only, and people tend to understand what it is and how it works. But it also has this quality of that being perhaps only the iceberg tip, because it's interactive, it's social. Everyone who cared for a life form for some period of time were engaging with other people as a result of this practice. People come to me with questions like, how many life forms are still alive? How many life forms were created? What's the oldest life form? How many life forms had near-death experiences, you know? And so there's a sense where the most interesting parts of the project are in these social relations that were born as a result of it, which I think has something in common with the work we'll get to, and I think also relates to what Achilles was talking about with work being embedded in a community and meaning being generated actually from that. I think there's this question present, like where is the artwork actually? Is it the image, in these cases just a simple gradient, or is it something else, something intangible born only from participation? But actually, I guess after making life forms, which you're probably getting a sense of, it's a very like cute and cuddly project, kind of. I had a bit of a crisis as an artist, and some of you who are maybe also NFT artists might relate. I started to wonder like why all these people hated me. And I thought about that a lot. And there's kind of one reason that I'm sure you've all encountered, which is maybe environmental. But I felt like that reason wasn't interesting somehow because it's a little too easy to diagnose, and it didn't really speak to the depth of what was going on. And I thought about it a little more, and I think underneath it, there's a discomfort with the idea of artworks being sold at all. Again, this is very related to what Achilles was talking about, the sort of pricing of something that on some level we want to believe is a sacred object, uncapturable by price and the market. And I think this is a dynamic present in the trad art world as well. And I started to ask myself, where else this dynamic takes place. And the three sort of areas that I felt it was similar were sex work, the classic Madonna horror complex that we might apply to people's bodies, care work, so maybe professions that involve a lot of emotional labor, like palliative care, things like this, and also schemes to price ecosystems. So how much is a square of the Amazon rainforest worth? This obviously has some kind of intangible value that we could never price. And I was on this research binge. And simultaneously around this time, it was generative AI summer. And I, as an artist, I tend to get interested into how I can break things. So I was simultaneously looking at how I could remove the safety filters from these networks and make them make images that they weren't supposed to make. And a lot of these networks, these are more images of life forms. When they die, they throw errors. So I was making these AI images of myself, not safe for work. And I ended up making this video sort of lurking a fictional AI me, who is a online not safe for work content creator. Because of my previous research into these marketplaces at the edge, where we might see conflicting dynamics, a very real and present marketplace, and simultaneously a feeling that there's an element that can't be captured by price neatly. And this video has a bunch of quotes in it that I won't read or get into, but a bunch of them are from the work of art in the age of mechanical reproduction, so I will bring that in because it's on point. But anyway, this work was the predecessor for another project that I think we...
Yes, I think this is, for me, I think this was very important. It's wonderful how you pinned it down to the question as an artist, like where's the value? And I think especially with Web3, where the option is click and buy, it's really important to look at artworks that are engaging much more deeply with blockchain and use it in a way to also go a next layer or put in a next layer of it. And I think with the series of Untitled, you started to engage with, of course, with the imagery that is very attracting on the one hand, very provocative on the other, and the way you are going further with the new piece, Prompt Baby, is incredible. And yeah, I think we would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, happily. So when I was making these images from Untitled, I always wanted to find a way for people who aren't me to prompt the network. And I was looking for the right context for that to happen. And I did a drop that I think is an attempt towards that with a modularium in August. And I'll tell you how that worked. Oh, yeah, okay. So these are, what we actually sold are an edition of prompt credits with this placeholder image.
Could you explain what people got already when they bought the drop?
Yeah. There's an explanatory text on the site.
But no imagery at all?
No imagery yet. They're just these. And each collector has a possibility to submit a prompt to the model. And it is a model that knows who I am. And it has no safety filters on it anymore. And the prompts are not run automatically. Because I was very, this is a kind of pressing and concerning issue with these technologies in our time. It's very easy to make images like this of anyone, and if there are even 10 or so photos of you online, someone could screen cap them and make images like this of you. It's incredibly simple, actually. And on parts of the internet that you probably don't look at, this is actively happening often. And so I was interested in, how can I demonstrate a way for people to prompt this model, make images of me in this context that is with my consent, and what might that experiment be like if it plays out. So each collector can submit a prompt. They come to me, I read them all. And
how do they get in touch with you? Which medium do they use?
Oh, there's actually a form on the site. So if you purchase or own NFT in this edition, you can, when signed in, send me a prompt. And you have to sign the prompt so that I can check that it was actually you. And and then I will either accept the prompt and run it, and then update the NFT's metadata to be the result of the prompt. Or I will write you an email. And that is really, we kind of spoke to the way that this has something in common with life forms in a sense, because both of these projects actually, require the collector to act. The collector has to actually do something with these technologies. Also, similarly, there's a huge part of what is interesting in the work that is not actually visible in the images, because to me, by far, the most interesting part is receiving all of these prompts and having the subsequent conversations with the collectors that come as a result of them. Each one is an adventure, and I have emailed a lot of people. And so, yeah, I guess it's like, this is something I struggle with as an artist. Like, how do you document this aspect of your work? If you look at the site, you see all these images, but I can tell you some weird stories about it already. And we are, currently, we did the drop in August, and collectors have until December to send me their prompts. And if I don't receive a prompt by then, it will stay with the placeholder image. So it's kind of very actively ongoing, this saga right now.
I have a question to that, because the way you like to engage with the audience, do you think that is something that grew with the rise of blockchain technology and the way people can anonymously also act in the field?
I was an artist making work with software before blockchains existed, really, and my first blockchain projects were before NFTs existed. So I think that for me to approach things this way felt very natural. You know, one of the unique affordances of software is that it's interactive and hostable online. And I am a person who is often thinking about what is uniquely afforded by the mediums that I use. One thing I've been thinking about a lot lately, though, in the blockchain context, is that if you're an artist who writes smart contracts, you actually have, just in making the artwork, you have actually created an API for other people to make artworks that respond to and interact with your artworks. And I've been thinking about the interoperability between different artist contracts like a lot lately. It's a bit maybe not quite the spirit with which you intended the question, but I do feel like that might be uniquely afforded by blockchain. I've been seeing a lot of these kinds of projects, I think, recently.
Yeah, I have another question, and we have like one or maybe the last question, and then we also going to open up this discussion a bit. But this is something that I also would be really interested in to understand what you would say, where is your art happening? And I think you kind of already answered it, but I wanted to make it aware to everybody who's listening that especially for us as galleries working with physical and digital spaces and engaging with artists that want to show their work and want to contextualize their work. Where is it happening? What do you think is happening? How can we work with blockchain more in engaging and creating the art and showing it or bringing it to a new space, maybe?
Yeah, I mean,
because sorry to say that additionally, like the way you engage with the audience, this is already the engagement and the art happening and creating a new space.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good question because I think that a lot of these projects, which are maybe born online or live online, I've also done, for example, like site-specific projects on social media. How do you even document that? But I think an exhibition is a specific kind of context setting, and it requires its own communication tactics. I mean, I'm actually coming from the trad art world before this era of software, so I think a lot about the exhibition context and work with it regularly. And when I do, I like to ask myself, you know, what materials, sculptures, what kind of screens best support the conceptual meanings that this software system I've written is about. And I think we saw that with the life forms, like why are they on iPhones? The iPhone 6 is a very particular object with its own design language that I think is compatible with the project. It's like the cutest possible phone. And like life forms are a pet, you know? Like, well, what screen is the closest to being a pet, you know? Like my phone is in my pocket. I take it out and I like pet it every day, right? So I just felt like that was the screen that should hold the life form. And so I think there's a lot of these kinds of communication tactics from the world of physical art that we can think about further in the world of digital blockchain-based art. I'm not sure that's the spirit of what you meant with your question.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the example with the life form on the one hand is super because it really combines like the place to show it. But I also think in a way that with Web3 it opens up art to experience art in new spaces. And I think it's very interesting how we will see that will be evolving and something that you also experience from coming from both sides and showing in both sides. So the last time I saw Untitled, the series was at Hack in Basel, so it was in a museums show. So I think this is something that Sibel also said a little bit in a way that is like where is this fine art presented and how can we engage with the different worlds to open up and bring it all together and speak about art at the end. And this is exactly what you do. And I think everybody who wants to dig deeper into...
I haven't even shown any images.
You haven't shown any images. I think we will end up...
These are the prompts of others. To me. Oh, that one, yeah, okay. I put in 2 main slides of these.
And yes, but thanks a lot, Sarah. And I would like to open up now. I know this is a short fireside chat, but Sarah is here, and you will have the chance to dig deeper into her work with her if you don't already know it. And 1 or 2 questions I think are fine.
Yeah. Thank you for your questions already.
Should I run with the mic?
Hi, Sarah. First of all, thank you so much for sharing that. That was super interesting. My question to you is, I mean, first of all, I think this is a really vulnerable experience for you to have, I can imagine. And I would be curious, do you ever plan to do anything with the prompts that you did not approve?
Sometimes I talk about them when people ask me. You know, I'm not sure. I think that at the end of this process, I will find a way to tell some of these stories from the background. There are actually some further slides with some in them when we get there. Some of the prompts, you know, I wondered when I began it, like, will I publish the prompts for each image, you know? Maybe I put them in the metadata too, or they all have this kind of like Instagram screenshot format, carrying on the fictional narrative of this alternate me's social media life playing out. And I thought, oh, could they be the caption? But a surprising number of them are definitely written as though they're like letters to me. And I don't know if those should be attached to the artwork publicly, so I haven't shared them. I don't share them automatically, but I think maybe some type of text at the end might be appropriate.
Any other questions for Sarah?
On the interoperability point, for dog. I'm sure maybe you've seen, like, much with the other kind of mechanics, the gaming autonomous worlds people have really tried to figure out how that referential sort of thing can work, and I think it's really interesting to see how that would port on sort of market experiences. The question is, do you feel if you deployed Prompt Baby on different block spaces, do you have a sense that, like, would it be different prompts? Would the whole thing look very, like, is there a sort of, you know, like a relationship between the block space with what this would look like in an alternate universe?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know that the block space itself is the main variable, but blockchains have communities around them, and Modularium has a community around it, and there's also a community around my own work. And the audience that Prompt Baby has reached is some subset of people who came to it through me and my own work, and some subset of people who came through it from prior engagement with the Modularium platform. And I think that any chain or context would have that dynamic. And I do think that some of the prompts I have received, for example, Modularium did a drop about sloths. I've gotten a prompt about sloths. I am 100% sure I would not have received that if I had launched this somewhere else. Also, when doing this, I didn't expect as many like crypto meme requests as I've gotten, but a surprising amount of people want me to inject myself into crypto memes. Did I put this image in? Yeah, this is one of the first prompts I got. Laser eyes, guys. I also got a whole series of prompts for like Lamborghini, me with a Lamborghini. There's some drama around the Lamborghini pics, but and now I want someone who wants the Celestia logo on stockings. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Unfortunately, AI is not that good. But yeah, no, absolutely, there's a very particular context. But I will say that one of the things that, you know, why did I do this project on Modularium? The platform was very helpful, but I think this is worth mentioning and speaks to the context of the technology too. I did not want this project to be on OpenSea. Why? Not because I feel the people on OpenSea are gonna send me worse messages, but actually it would be banned, like almost immediately. I have a friend who was banned for something much more mild than this. And this is its own kind of separate context on this platform. And I have a relationship with the platform creators, so I'm fairly sure that they won't block me. But why is this relevant? Well, you know, is this technology decentralized? Is it open? Is it censorship resistant? I don't know. These are things we like to say a lot, aren't they?
I think this is a fantastic end, right?
Is it the end? Is there one more question? Should we end it? Okay, right. Thank you so much, Sarah, Johanna. Very good.